Hello, my friend. I hope you're doing well today by God's grace. And before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and tap that bell icon so you never miss an update. Now, let's travel to Flagstaff, Arizona. After years of family feuds, money battles, and broken dreams of a perfect polygamous future, the stars of TLC's Sister Wives have finally closed the chapter on their most controversial asset, Coyote Pass. That 14-acre stretch of land, once meant to become Kody Brown's grand family compound, has officially been sold. 4 separate parcels, 1 combined price, 1 clean break. In mid-April 2025, the land sold for a total of $1.5 million in cash. And with that sale, one of the longest and most painful storylines in Sister Wives history came to an end. For viewers, it wasn't just about real estate. It was about heartbreak, betrayal, and a family slowly coming apart at the seams. Coyote Pass was first purchased in 2018 when the Browns packed up their Las Vegas lives and moved to Arizona. They dreamed of privacy, peace, and a fresh start. The land, overlooking the beautiful San Francisco peaks, cost about $820,000 and was paid for with money from multiple family members. The vision was big: 5 homes, 1 for each wife, and a future where everyone finally felt secure. But as we all know, visions don't always survive reality. Tensions rose, plans stalled, then COVID hit. And more importantly, relationships collapsed. Christine left in 2021, Janelle followed in late 2022, Meri walked away in early 2023. By then, Robyn was the only wife still standing beside Kody. And suddenly, that dream property became a legal and emotional battlefield. Christine made her exit clean and quick. After selling her Flagstaff home and keeping those profits, she signed over her share of Coyote Pass to Kody and Robyn for just $10 in July 2022. $10. Not exactly a retirement plan. But Meri and Janelle weren't so lucky. Both women had poured serious money into the land, including proceeds from their Las Vegas homes. And unlike Christine, they hadn't seen a single dollar back. Understandably, trust was thin, especially for Janelle. "I never felt like I had much control over my own money," she admitted in a January 2024 episode. Years of shared family accounts had left her feeling financially powerless, and now the one asset that could protect her future felt uncertain. By late 2024 and early 2025, the tension finally boiled over on camera. The property was divided unevenly on paper. 1 parcel belonged only to Kody and Robyn. Others were split in confusing ways. And when Kody suggested dividing profits based on those ownership percentages, the room practically froze. Meri didn't stay quiet. She hinted at legal action. Robyn felt betrayed. Kody felt attacked. And viewers? Well, they reached for the popcorn. In a confessional, Kody complained about what he called a knife in my pocketbook if the land were split evenly. But eventually, reality won. The family wasn't going to live there. The dream was dead, and the land needed to go. "So let's sell the whole lot and move on," Kody finally said. To make the deal fair, the parcels were restructured on March 27, 2025. 2 sections were transferred to include equal ownership between Kody, Robyn, Meri, and Janelle. It wasn't perfect, but it was finally balanced, and just weeks later, the sale was complete. Coyote Pass, once the symbol of unity and hope, officially became a symbol of closure. And for better or worse, the Browns turned the page, together. But no longer as a family. Coconino County property records confirmed the deals officially closed on April 14, 2025. The buyers paid in full, in cash, for the empty lots, clearly drawn more by the breathtaking mountain views than by the Browns' fractured family history. The land was split into 4 parcels, each sold separately. And this is where the numbers finally bring clarity to years of confusion. Parcel 1 was the 2-acre piece that originally belonged to Christine, then transferred to Kody and Robyn in 2022. That parcel sold for $350,000 and was fully owned by Kody and Robyn. Parcel 2 covered 2.42 acres, owned equally by Meri and Janelle. It sold for $305,000, earning each woman $152,500. Parcel 3 was 4.48 acres, owned 50% by Kody and Robyn, and 25% each by Meri and Janelle. That parcel sold for $400,000. Parcel 4, the largest at 5.16 acres, carried the same ownership split and sold for $490,000. After the final restructuring for fairness, the total $1.5 million was divided evenly among 4 people: Kody, Robyn, Meri, and Janelle. Christine, of course, had already stepped away. Each of the remaining 4 walked away with $375,000. Altogether, the group turned their original $820,000 investment into a $680,000 profit. Not bad on paper. But emotionally, that profit came at a heavy price. Kody had cleared the final $340,000 mortgage in June 2023 with Janelle's help, making sure no liens complicated the sale. And for Meri and Janelle, the payout felt less like celebration and more like delayed justice. Meri, who spent years as Kody's legal wife but emotional outsider, is now using her share to rebuild her independence, including a fresh push with her LuLaRoe business. Janelle, once the family's financial backbone, has said she plans to focus on retirement and possibly a quieter life in Montana. Kody and Robyn, meanwhile, are pouring their portion into stability, supporting Kody's real estate ventures, and reinforcing Robyn's role as the last standing partner in a very different family than the one they started with. But the emotional weight of Coyote Pass didn't disappear with the paperwork. In a December 2024 episode, Janelle admitted she couldn't truly move on from Kody until the land was sold. To her, it was the final chain tying her to plural marriage. Robyn, on the other hand, confessed she felt deep grief letting the dream go. She was the last one still believing in it. Kody even admitted he briefly thought about protecting his own interests over Janelle's, but credited Robyn for keeping him honest. A rare moment of self-awareness, if we're being generous. Fans watching the back half of Season 19, which resumed April 20th, 2025, will see those raw negotiations replayed during the tell-all specials. And now, the family has scattered. Christine is thriving in her monogamous life with David Woolley. Meri is traveling and rediscovering herself. Janelle is choosing simplicity and peace. Kody and Robyn are settled into their $890,000 Utah home, holding on to what remains of their shared future. Coyote Pass, once a symbol of unity, now tells a different story. Sometimes, the only way to move forward is to sell the ground you were standing on. As Sister Wives continues into its 19th season, producers hint that future episodes may focus more on the ex-wives' fresh starts than on Kody's fading empire. No word yet on Season 20, but the direction is clear. Those dusty Arizona acres didn't just represent a failed dream. They prove that even division can be profitable if you're finally willing to let go. During Part 2 of the Sister Wives Season 19 Tell-All, which aired on November 23rd, 2025, Robyn Brown finally broke her silence. And when she did, she didn't hold back. Through visible tears, Robyn pointed directly at Kody's 3 former wives, Christine, Janelle, and Meri, and accused them of playing an active role in the collapse of the Brown family. "I've been painted as the villain for years," Robyn told host Sukanya Suki Krishnan. But the truth is, some of the things that were said and done by the other wives made it impossible for this family to stay together. "I didn't break this family. They walked away, and they made sure the door was slammed behind them." For nearly 4 years, fans and former sister wives have blamed Robyn for Kody's emotional distance from Christine, Janelle, and Meri. The idea that Robyn monopolized Kody has dominated social media and multiple seasons of the show. But During this episode, Robyn pushed back harder than ever. They wanted out, she said. Christine was planning her exit for years. Janelle emotionally checked out long before she physically left. And Meri had one foot out the door since 2015. I was the only one still trying to hold the plural family together. But you can't force people to stay when they've already left in their hearts. The studio audience gasped when Robyn revealed private group text messages from 2021 and 2022. In one, Christine allegedly wrote, "I'm done pretending. This isn't the life I want anymore," months before she officially announced her departure from Kody. Janelle, who appeared remotely, fired back immediately. "Robyn conveniently forgets that Kody stopped showing up for me and my kids during COVID," she said. "He chose one household over the others, and we all saw it. Don't rewrite history now that the Coyote Pass money is split and everyone's moving on." Meri, usually the quiet middle ground, also spoke up. "I stayed loyal for decades after the catfishing scandal," she said. "I begged for scraps of attention. If anyone was trying, it was me. Robyn got the full husband. The rest of us got part-time, Kody at best." Kody, sitting beside Robyn, stayed unusually quiet for most of the exchange, but near the end, he finally spoke. "I take responsibility for my part," he admitted. "I got angry. I pulled away. But I also felt abandoned first. When 3 out of 4 wives stop believing in plural marriage, what am I supposed to do? Fight alone?" Robyn then added another layer, claiming that certain choices made by the departing wives damaged trust long before Coyote Pass negotiations began. She pointed to Christine selling her Flagstaff home without family consultation, and Janelle refusing to continue paying into shared expenses after 2021. "Every time we tried to move forward as a family," Robyn said, her voice breaking, "someone was already planning their individual exit strategy." "I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm saying I wasn't the only one making choices that hurt this family." Social media exploded within minutes. The hashtag Team Robyn trended for the first time in years, while others accused her of shifting blame and rewriting history during the most explosive tell-all moment of the season. Christine, who did not attend part 2 in person, released a statement on Instagram shortly after the episode aired. "I left a marriage that was no longer serving me or my children." That's not tearing a family apart. That's choosing peace. That was Christine's quiet but powerful response. As season 19 comes to a close, the Coyote Pass land is fully sold, the money has been divided, and the once sprawling Brown family has been reduced to just Kody, Robyn, and their younger children, with occasional visits from Truly and Savannah. Whether Robyn's bold tell-all accusations will reshape public opinion or simply seal the fate of the plural family remains to be seen. But one truth is impossible to ignore. 7 years after leaving Las Vegas with dreams of one big united family, the Browns now live as 5 separate households, and the blame game is far from finished. And just when viewers thought the fractures couldn't deepen, another voice entered the conversation. In Flagstaff, Arizona, the family drama took a far more personal turn. Kody Brown's estranged transgender child, Leon, resurfaced on social media after a year-long break and delivered one of the most emotional and devastating critiques yet. In a series of raw Instagram stories posted on November 25th, 2025, the 30-year-old writer, who uses they-them pronouns, accused Kody of lying about trying to reconnect with his children. Their final words were blunt and heartbreaking. "He is a liar. He is a joke of a father. That's all." Leon's posts quickly went viral, dominating fan forums and social media discussions. The trigger was a clip from a recent season 19 episode in which Kody, now monogamously married to Robyn, claimed during a therapy conversation, "I've reached out to every one of my children, multiple times." The statement was meant to paint Kody as a remorseful father. Instead, it lit a fuse. Leon, the eldest child from Kody's spiritually married but legally dissolved relationship with Meri, called the claim a complete fabrication. "I'm breaking my social media silence to say, one thing, Leon wrote over a black background with white text. There's a ridiculous video of my father circulating where he says he reaches out to his children. Let me be very clear. I have not heard from that man since my brother died. They went further. He ignored me at Garrison's funeral. That reference cut painfully deep. Leon was speaking about the tragic death of their half-brother, Robyn Brown, who died by suicide in March 2024 at just 25 years old. The loss briefly brought the fractured family together in Provo, Utah, but according to Leon, even that moment of shared grief was marked by emotional distance. Leon said Kody avoided eye contact, conversation, and any attempt at comfort, leaving them feeling invisible during one of the hardest moments of their life. This wasn't just grief, Leon implied. It was abandonment. Leon, a Westminster College graduate and Substack writer, first came out as lesbian in 2017 and later affirmed their transgender identity in 2022. Their words reflected years of unresolved pain, not just from one moment, but from a long pattern. And they are not alone. Other adult children have quietly echoed similar frustrations. Christine's daughters, including Aspen and Truly, have publicly distanced themselves from Kody. Insiders close to the family say Kody's one-house COVID rule, which centered Robyn's home, permanently damaged trust with many of his kids. Long before the wives officially left between 2021 and 2023, many of the children already felt their father had emotionally left them behind. What began as a story about plural marriage has now become a story about fractured relationships, unresolved grief, and voices that can no longer stay silent. And as the Brown family continues to unravel, one thing becomes painfully clear. This isn't just about land, money, or television drama anymore. It's about parents and children who no longer recognize each other. Leon's emotional outburst was quickly met with public support, especially from their spouse, Audrey Chris. Audrey commented directly on Leon's story, writing that Kody's claims were verifiably not true, openly challenging his on-air version of events. Fans followed fast. On X, formerly Twitter, #TeamLeon briefly trended. One post summed up the mood perfectly. Leon just spoke for all the Brown kids who've been gaslit for years. Kody's redemption arc is officially over. Not everyone agreed. Some defended Kody, pointing to his fundamentalist Mormon upbringing and personal discomfort with Leon's transition as emotional barriers. Still, Meri has remained openly supportive. When Leon came out in 2022, Meri shared their posts with a simple but powerful message: I love you, no matter what. And that brings us to the timeline of how this relationship unraveled. In 2015, Meri's catfishing scandal shook the family and damaged trust. Between 2016 and 2017, Leon came out as lesbian, challenging Kody's conservative beliefs. During the 2020 and 2021 pandemic lockdowns, Kody isolated primarily with Robyn, further distancing himself from the other households. Christine soon left, citing emotional neglect. In June 2022, Leon publicly shared their transgender identity, writing, I'm non-binary. My pronouns are they, them. Kody remained silent. Then came March 2024, the devastating loss of Garrison. Kody attended the funeral, but Leon says he offered them no comfort, no acknowledgement, no connection. In November 2025, Kody's season 19 therapy clip aired. Leon responded within 48 hours, breaking a year-long social media break they had dedicated to writing and healing. During the episode itself, both Janelle and Christine pushed back hard against Robyn's suggestion that the ex-wives poison the children against Kody. I'm tired of being blamed for how his kids feel about him, Christine said. That's his responsibility. Meri, now thriving in her independent life and her quieter spin-off, has stayed mostly silent on the current conflict, but previously told Us Weekly, parenting in plural is hard, but love doesn't come with conditions. Kody declined to comment through representatives. A source close to him says he's heartbroken but firm, blaming miscommunication and the pressures of filming. Robyn suggested therapy as a possible bridge, saying a neutral third party might help him explain his side. But Leon's words make it clear. The gap isn't a crack anymore. It's a canyon. Years of perceived favoritism, financial secrecy, emotional neglect, and silent prejudice have widened it beyond easy repair. And this moment reaches far beyond one family. The Brown story mirrors the evolution of sister wives itself, from polished polygamy fantasy to the raw collapse of a complicated system. Over 19 seasons, the show has made TLC millions while exposing both the hopes and failures of alternative family structures. Leon's voice adds something new and necessary: queer truth inside a faith tradition that once denied it. Their Substack, Queer in Here, explores identity, trauma, and healing, hinting at future memoirs that may rival the show's own confessional style. As the tell-all continues, with Part 3 airing November 30th, 2025, more truths are expected to surface. For Kody, once branding himself the sexy polygamous dad, the words joke of a father now echo painfully against his Utah mansion life with Robyn. For Leon, the statement wasn't cruelty. It was release. A public reclaiming of a story they believe their father surrendered long ago. And in the end, the Brown saga reminds us of one hard truth about reality television. It doesn't just reflect lives, it magnifies every fracture. What builds an empire can also bury a family. And whether this moment leads to healing or permanently seals the divide, one thing is clear: Leon is no longer holding anything back. Now the spotlight shifts to one of the most painful moments in the Brown family's history: Garrison Brown's funeral. In the aftermath of Garrison's tragic death, Kody Brown's behavior has come under fierce public scrutiny. What should have been a moment of shared grief instead became another wound in a family already struggling to stay whole. Garrison Brown, the 25-year-old son of Kody and Janelle, died by suicide in March 2024. He was remembered by those who loved him as adventurous, kind, and deeply loyal, qualities that stood in heartbreaking contrast to the turmoil surrounding his parents' collapsing plural marriage. The funeral was meant to unite the siblings and offer some measure of closure. Instead, it reopened old scars. Leon Brown, Kody's child with his first wife Meri, broke a long social media silence to respond to a season 19 episode of Sister Wives that aired on November 23, 2025. In that episode, Kody claimed he had been reaching out to his estranged children and was even open to therapy to rebuild those relationships. Leon's reply was raw, direct, and impossible to ignore. "Let me be so clear," Leon wrote. "I have not heard from that man since my brother killed himself. He blew me off at Garrison's funeral. He is a liar. He is a joke of a father." That's all. Those words cut straight through the show's carefully framed narrative of regret and reconciliation. The phrase "blew me off" suggested more than awkward distance. It implied avoidance. Silence, a refusal to engage, at a moment when compassion should have been automatic. For Leon, and for many watching, it symbolized everything that had been wrong for years. This wasn't a single mistake. It was the result of a long pattern. As Kody's marriages unraveled, many of his 18 children felt increasingly invisible. The sense of favoritism, emotional withdrawal, and broken trust slowly piled up. And Garrison's funeral became the moment when all of it finally spilled into the open. Fans quickly reacted. On Reddit and other platforms, viewers began re-examining footage and photos from the funeral. One image in particular went viral. It showed Kody and Robyn seated together in the front row, Kody's hand resting on Robyn's knee, while Janelle, Garrison's mother, sat nearby, visibly overwhelmed with grief. One commenter wrote, "Janelle's kids should have been beside her, not watching their father cling to Robyn while their mother was breaking." To many, the image felt symbolic. not just of poor judgment, but of emotional blindness. For critics, it reinforced the belief that Kody still prioritized one household, even in a moment that demanded unity above all else. And for Leon, it confirmed what they had felt for years, that their father was physically present in moments that required love, but emotionally absent when it mattered most. This wasn't just about a funeral. It was about a parent failing to show up when grief was at its heaviest. The post struck a nerve. Many viewers saw Kody's seating choice as one last act of exclusion in a family already shattered by divorce. One commenter wrote, "Kody hates his ex-wives more than he loves his own children. He has a lot of growing up to do." Others echoed the same frustration, accusing him of choosing loyalty to Robyn over unity with Janelle and her grieving children. For a man who once preached family togetherness through plural marriage, the image felt painfully ironic. To critics, it looked less like grief and more like ego. Janelle has been open about the fallout. In interviews tied to the latest season, she revealed that her daughter, Madison Maddie Brush, hasn't spoken to Kody in 2 to 3 years. The reason, Janelle said, was simple and heartbreaking. He showed no interest in her life. She didn't see the need to keep him updated, Janelle explained, because he wasn't asking. That emotional distance even influenced Maddie's decision to move away, a choice Janelle partly attributes to the tension Kody created. Kody's social media tells its own quiet story. He follows only a handful of his children on Instagram: Hunter, Paydon, Isabel, Logan, Aurora, Mykelti, Brianna, and Savannah. Others, including Leon, are noticeably absent. Yet, he still follows Garrison's now inactive account, a haunting reminder of a relationship that can never be repaired. On screen, Kody's reflections only deepened the controversy. He tearfully recalled sharing a beer with Garrison shortly before his death, comparing it to never having had that chance with his own father. "At least, I got a beer with Garrison the last time we ate together," he said, his voice breaking. But Janelle's reaction, a quiet, almost stunned laugh, said more than words ever could. To her, his story didn't match the reality she and her children lived. While Kody speaks of therapy and healing with Robyn, many fans feel his behavior shows an unwillingness to fully face the pain he caused. One Reddit user put it simply, "The kids feel his rejection." All of them do, in different ways, but they feel it. It's devastating to have a parent who doesn't really care. This storm arrives as Sister Wives moves into its 20th season, with the focus shifting from plural marriage to grief, accountability, and the remains of a family now reduced to Kody and Robyn's monogamous life. Meri and Christine have moved forward. Janelle is rebuilding. But the children's voices, especially Leon's, are now the loudest and the most impossible to ignore. For viewers, this isn't just about a funeral moment. It's about years of emotional absence. It's about a father whose choices left scars that no televised therapy session can erase. And as Leon's words continue to echo, "He is a liar," fans are left with one quiet question. Will Kody ever truly step up? Or will this outrage simply fade into another chapter of silence? The Brown family story continues. A raw, public lesson in love, loss, and legacy.